All right, Jake. Here we are at the problem child. To give you some background, we've had this thing since 1990, and the problem we have actually come to surface the very first day it come home. We parked it that night when it come home. Next morning wouldn't hit, and we worried around with it for a half a day. Found out it was out of time. And we thought, one of the neighbors was having some fun with us or something or other. So we pulled the distributor out, retimed it. It was fine. And the reason I call this problem a ghost is it'll sometimes go a year or better with no problems. This thing gets out of time, and I mean, it does it in miraculous ways. Like, you can start it up, it'll be fine. You go to running it about 2 or 3 minutes. The next thing you know is you're running. You can hear the time and getting higher and higher and higher. And then all at once, 2 or 3 minutes later, it'll go back. And we have thought, well, it's the weights in the distributor, or maybe they're moving around the springs this week, or spring is off. I've gone through the original distributor, and then actually when that didn't come off my junk tractor, I cleaned it up, went through it. Spring's good, lube good, it's advancing, retarding just like it's supposed to. Put it back together. I just don't think it's in the distributor. But this thing will get so high, you can cut it off and it'll be running fine. You can come back to it the next time to start it back up, and it'll be so high that it's bucking the starter. And I mean bucking it like it'll might near roll up and lock. It's so high. I've actually torn the starter up one time because of that. But like I say, then again, you get it right, you might go a long time without any problems. I'll tell you one other thing about this. You cannot time it to the timing marks, which leads me to believe I've got more issues. The timing marks are useless. You get number 1 up, get the rotor pointing at it, drop it in there, and you just have to turn it till it sounds good. And that's what I do when it messes up. I just get a hold of the distributor and turn it till it sounds good. And I don't know. I know you took a 530 completely apart. Is there enough side play that can come in the cam if the cam is walking away from the distributor gear and then jumping back into the new spot? I had a guy tell me before that he thought my cam gear was loose. And he said, take the inspection cover off, put it in gear, push the clutch up, take that off, reach in there with a pair of channel locks and get the cam in between the lobes, see if you can shake it. I couldn't shake it. But I did find a pair of vice grips somebody lost in the crankcase a long time ago. That was pretty sweet. They was nearly brand new. And boy, they'd lasted good down there in that oil. Probably one of the best pairs of vice grips I've got come out of that thing. And found that and 2 double handfuls of piston rings from a previous attempt at an overhaul, I assume. But I really don't know. I mean, I guess the gear could be loose on the crank that powers the cam. But I don't see how a loose gear... I could see a loose gear giving me a few degrees of timing issues, 2 or 3 degrees. But I'm talking, what we're talking about is probably 10 degrees plus forward or back. And this thing the other day got to doing that, and I got it straightened back out. But it leads me to believe the cam is a little out of time, because it got so high one time I could swear I thought I could hear it trying to hoof out the air intake. But I'm kind of at a loss without completely tearing it all the way apart and starting from scratch is what can happen. I do know there's some issues with this thing. That the governor arm up there, it moves back and forth every time it fires. That arm moves back and forth rhythmically. I don't mean like it's trying to adjust, like it's hunting, like it's a lean hunt, or it's trying to keep itself running, or it's trying to adjust for its speed. I mean, it's like there's something in there that's a little bent. But there again, short of a complete disassembly, I don't know. I'm just looking for somebody with a fresh idea. I'm fixing to plant corn with it, and a little embarrassed to say I depend on this thing a little bit more than I probably ought to have to for 2018. We probably put 200 plus hours a year on it. But I've talked to everybody that I can think to talk to, and like I say, I'm just looking for a fresh idea. I know you've had one completely down inside, but any insight you have would be appreciated. But that's all for now.